Yo, what's up? I'm Jay. I know, I haven't made a video in a while. There's many reasons, okay? You know, summer's about to come around, testing has been held, and also, today's video, everybody, grab your drawing tablets, grab some popcorn, put a show in the background, do something, because this video will probably be a long video. I already know, because guess what? I made a script for this video, which I almost never do unless I'm talking about topics that like pertain to certain names. But this is the first time I'm using a script to talk about something, so you already know your boy's serious about. I'm locking in for this video, and I need you guys to lock in too. Okay? Okay. Recently, Sora AI shut down. If you don't know what Sora AI is, I have made a video talking about it, and looking at the title of that video, when I tell you this was a nuke to the art community and to artists in general, it was devastating. Okay, does that kind of get the picture? Okay. But speaking of Sora, March 24th, 2026, Sora AI video generation app shut down. Oh my gosh. Yes, everybody cheer. Every artist that's there cheer. Oh my gosh, I can hear your claps from a mile away. This is amazing. This is awesome. And this is the kind of the reason that piqued my interest in making this video. And what I wanted to talk about when I want to talk about AI, because I have made videos about artists partaking in AI trends and Sora AI being a threat to the art community and animators. But I haven't talked about my like true feelings about AI. But before we get into that, because that's for later in this video, let's talk about Sora 2 for a moment. And the reason it shut down is because running that, I feel like a lot of people don't understand when we're talking about AI. When it comes to making data centers, when it comes to sustaining those data centers, when it comes to the resources that those data centers are using up to sustain themselves and sustain what they're generating. Yo, it takes a lot of money. And seeing the numbers that this AI BS is generating for our economy, yes, it takes a lot of money. And making video generation from AI, artificial intelligence, yeah, that's taking up a lot. Because when we look at, videos in general, videos are just frame by frame pictures. When I'm waving my hand, it's my hand moving, multiple times, and it's taking multiple pictures in order to create that image. So when you take making Sora generated AI videos and making millions and millions of frames for a video, yeah, it's gonna cost a lot of money, okay? Talking about my video that brought up Sora AI, it was about 5 or 6 months ago when I first put that video out. It made somewhat decent animations. Okay, look. I know there's gonna be somebody in the comments that's like, oh, it was just slop. And yes, dude, trust me, I agree with you. But when you look at the timeline of generative AI, when it more came to the public in 2021, and then it kind of followed pursuit after that, looking at when video generation was first introduced to in like 2022, when we see this kind of mumbled up mashed potato looking mess, and then you see what Sora 2 did only a couple years later, yes, decently animated and devastating. And to see the fact that this app finally collapsed is like putting a halt, putting a stop, just everybody stop moving. And also, if you don't know what Sora AI is and you feel like you haven't seen it, just think of those Fruit Island videos. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna bring that up, and I'm gonna try not to get on a tangent about those, because if you are watching my video right now, and you think that's funny, I actually don't want to say click off this video, because I will be informing you about certain things later on in this video. So if you find that stuff funny and you find like video generation things not a big problem, just stay tuned. Just stay tuned. I want to explain stuff to you. At the end of the day, I think this happens with a lot of people. When they hear people that like generative AI, they immediately go to the violent defense of raise a pitchfork and kill all of them. Like, no. They're misinformed, guys. Like, we as artists need to come together. We need to collectively agree that we as artists understand things differently than others, which I'll talk about that later. And we need to explain stuff to people, and we need to explain why it's wrong. So that's what this video is, because a lot of people aren't doing that, and I'm kind of surprised. So let's talk about it. I'm gonna be honest. I am glad Sora 2 AI, that whole app, is getting squashed by its own incompetence to pay its slop. Like, the fact that it's going bankrupt, God bless anything that happened, because oh my goodness, I've been waiting for that moment. When I talked about it in my last video, I was really sad. If you watch that video, like, I was distraught, bro. Watching that past reaction Genuinely, like, I think that's like the saddest I've ever been in one of my videos, and trust me, I'm not sad that much. Just being for real, not joking, not putting on this really high energy, like honestly being for real. When I found out that Sora 2 was shutting down, like genuine tears brought to my eyes. Maybe not genuine tears, but like I was actually so happy, because when it comes to me, I am very pessimistic. When I see all those videos and commentaries and discussions talking about the AI bubble will pop, guys, finally the AI bubble's gonna pop, millionaires and billionaires are giving money to each other and passing it around in a circle, and so hopefully it makes our economy better, but it won't, because it's just money getting passed around. And I've been very pessimistic about this AI bubble popping because I felt like it never would happen. Genuinely, I'm gonna be honest, you know, I have seen the AI bubble will finally burst videos since like 2022, 2023. And when they talk about it, they talk about it as if it's only months away. 4 years later, we're still here and it's getting better. And I kept that same mentality, and it's kind of the reason why I didn't want to talk about AI in general, because I have that overlook. And even when you see it in my old video talking about Sora 2, I was really distraught and really sad because I didn't believe the bubble was ever going to pop. And even if the bubble would pop, how long would the bubble expand until it got to that point? And when it popped, how much devastation would that pop leave? I've been like that for the past couple years, until this app shut down. I've been waiting patiently, very patiently, for something to finally happen. And it finally is. Because AI making art and making generative stuff that only humans can truly do, that was never AI's intent. Let's talk about AI for a second. There are many types of AIs. When we look in the more traditional AI sense and the generative AI sense, there are differences, and don't demonize AI in general, because a lot of artists tend to do that when the topic of AI is brought up. You don't hate AI, you hate generative AI. Now, if you're more into the tech perspective of your life and wondering why artists are making such a big deal about all this AI junk, since it's been existing here since like the 70s, I want to break it down to you, okay? Okay. We look at traditional AI and we look at the AI that's been existing here for decades and etc. What usually comes up in the conversation before all of the generative BS happened. Traditional AI focuses on making decisions through data, like kind of when you think about stock prices and, oh, this is how the stocks might work, and oh, this is how it's looking. That's kind of what traditional AI was. It kind of based itself on history and stuff that's happened to make predictions. However, generative AI, which has been the problem for many artists, makes new content, but instead of looking at the data to make something in a prediction sense, it just takes stuff, puts it through slop, and then calls it its own. Now, when you look at those two definitions, obviously, if you're not an artist or you're not really buying this whole thing, you're gonna be like, okay, Jay, you just said the same exact thing to me. Catch up on your points, dude, you're making no sense. But hold up, let me get there, okay? Gosh, freak, have some patience, yo, oh my goodness. Traditional AI takes things that have happened into perspectives. The statistics, the rules, what has been broken and what will break, what has been fixed and what we will fix next. It follows a straight line of predictions through history and makes its own conclusion like humans. That's why it was called artificial intelligence. It took how we thought and how we make predictions in certain senses and then made its own prediction. It's kind of like, I think that's how video game AIs work. It takes how things usually would act and then just makes into a sense where it doesn't have to perform based on somebody else when you play against another player, but how that player would play. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, I hope you're still on the same track as me. Generative AI takes what humans have made, what we do, what our lives perform, and tries to make it into art. But what is art exactly? Well, I'm glad you asked. We gotta get into the meat and bones of this freaking video, yo, okay? When we talk about what art is, it gets a little foggy. I'm gonna bring in a lot of stuff, okay? And you're gonna have to bear with me while I try to bring all the receipts in, because when we talk about what art is and we talk about why AI art isn't art, it gets a little messy depending on what you think art is. I'm here to tell you what art really is. Okay? Okay. To put in the truth, I have been struggling to make this video because it takes, you know, a lot of research, as in trying to figure out why I truly believe in this, because when I tried to make a video about AI, I ran into a lot of pushing myself up against a wall, because when I explained what art is and then I took AI fit into the definition of what I thought art was. I couldn't really put it into words. So I reached out in a server filled with a bunch of really talented artists and art tubers and asking, what does art mean to you, and how does AI go against that grain? We'll go into the AI against the grain later, but I first want to talk about the what art means to you part. One person in the server named Helium said, I feel like art is an expression of self and a mosaic of one's lived experience. One thing I've heard that really resonated with me is something Lavender Town said, which Lavender Town is a very popular artist. I'm gonna put that here. Like, genuinely probably one of the big three when it comes to how the art community got so popular. She talked about in her webcomic that she would always draw these rolling hills in the background, and after years she finally figured out what she was drawing, the scenery of where she grew up and experienced, something that she held emotion to. Keep what I just said, just what I just added there at the end, keep that in mind because we'll be talking about it, okay? Another person said, I think art is an intuitive reflection of a person's perspective, experience, and inner world. It speaks without articulating, which is why it has the ability to reflect a person's inner patterns subconsciously. Now, here's another one. Art is a good way to express my imagination while having fun, especially the learning side of it. Improvement is what drives me in seeing the progress pay off. Again, take that into it. Are you seeing a pattern when all these artists talk about AI? I kind of want you to I want you to pick it up because we are not done. Because I got a lot of responses for this and I'm going to read as much as I can. Another one. I think art, for me, is a process of training and self-discovery. I've been drawing since I was 14 years old, and it has helped me understand myself and do something I am proud of. I've discovered how to love something and do it without being perfect. How I do not compare to others in jealousy, but instead with admiration. Oh my gosh, that was, mind you, shout out to this person, oh my gosh. And then, you know, the final example I'll use is art for me means perspective, a proof that I can start and finish something. Hours of practice condensed into one canvas. It's an escape and a substance, maybe even an addiction. But that's what I kind of wanted to talk about. All these artists have such a well-rounded explanation of their thoughts. But I would also like to add a little tidbit of what I think art means. I recently read this book. Yes, we are getting to that point in this production of this YouTube channel where I'm going to be pulling out literature, okay? But I recently read this book called The Little History of Art by Charlotte Muntz. And holy mackerel, I'm going to have to find the page of where I underlined this. They say something in here that's beautiful, okay? A lot of people that, you know, aren't artists, when you ask the regular Joe Schmo of what they think art is, a lot of them think it's just a medium. And what I mean by that is AKA like painting is like just a medium of art. Or when you're talking about it, they think it's just the exercise of a medium, like you are painting, you are knitting, you are sculpting. If you do those acts, you are creating art. But that's not what art is. Okay, now everybody gather around the fireplace while I read you this little tidbit from this book, because it's really good and I want you to be informed, okay? By the time modern humans started to migrate from Africa to Europe and Asia around 60,000 years ago, they had begun to use paint to make decorative marks on objects and walls. Decoration can make surface more appealing, but there is no deeper message. Think of getting a paint job on your car. You want your car to be a sparkling orange, but that's all there is to it. You want it to look more appealing, but there isn't necessarily no true emotion that you're going through in order to get that style. It's just something you want. It's just the medium, the job getting done. And to be honest, that's what a lot of artists think of when they think of AI. Believe it or not, when we talk about AI forms of art, that's not really the genuine sense. AI is just a medium, a program that can make stuff, but never feel stuff. And that's the whole point of art, I fear. That's why a lot of artists, when the conversation of generative AI gets brought up, they don't agree with it. Even when you call it AI art, and the only reason I am is just to get everybody familiar with the sense and understand what I'm talking about, is because AI cannot make art. It doesn't follow the equation. What is the equation? I'll get to that. But first, I want to recommend you another book called What Art Does by Brian Eno, okay? Gotta put on my reading glasses again because the font is too small. Another little quotes from the book that, you know, everybody sit back at the fireplace. We're not done with the discussion, okay? This is what it says. Feelings are known as fuzzy, hard to pin down, impossible to measure, and ever-changing. It's a technical culture like Western things you can't count, don't count. Of course, there do exist ways of making decisions that are not based on feelings. You can make something, and it isn't art. That's not the definition of art. It's not making something. The definition of art isn't just painting. The definition of art isn't just making something. To come to a conclusion, what I think art is, the most jumbled up way I can compress all the difficult things that art does, that art feels, that art makes, to compress it down into one true meaning. I think art is an expression of an emotion from an experience through a medium, because you feeling sad isn't art. You have to put it through something. And in order to feel that certain emotion, you have to go through an experience. Yes, long definition, but I know it fits best. Now, let's break down the definition I just made and give you the true reason why I and why many artists don't believe AI can ever possibly make art. An expression of an emotion. Okay, let's just put on the Captain Obvious hat, because guess what? An AI can't feel for jack shit. It is just a bot. It is just something that can kind of replicate how humans can feel. You know how I talked about traditional AI and when it takes upon what humans would perceive and what things have happened in order to make a prediction? That's kind of how generative AI works and how really all AI works. So it kind of takes what we feel and what it thinks we feel as society and then tries to put that emotion through a canvas. But it never can actually feel emotion. Part 2 of the equation, an experience. Hate to break it to you, AI bros, but AI can't feel. As much as you guys use your ChatGPT bots like genuine slaves, they can't feel a thing you say. No matter how many times you say, do it faster, do it quicker, it does not feel anything. It cannot tell you, hey, stop it, that makes me feel bad. Because it can't feel any of it. It's just a bunch of ones and zeros, and what you're saying is just a bunch of ones and zeros repeating back to it, trying to figure out what you truly want in order to make something. And you notice how AI can't make something without a human telling it to? Yeah, we are the input. We are the thing that makes AI work. Whether you believe it or not, and whether you are that person that says, well, generative AI can work on its own, it cannot. It physically cannot. No AI can work without human interception, without something existing that humans have done in order to make something else. But that something else isn't necessarily creative because it already came from human intelligence and it's just trying to reciprocate what a human asked it to. Holy guacamole. But, part 2 of the equation. The only thing AI gets right in the equation of what art is the medium. A lot of artists try to debunk this, but I genuinely do think it's true. AI is a medium form. It is something that you will input into and then it will, give you something back. You are putting something in a canvas and it puts something back at you. When you're painting, you're putting paint on the canvas and what comes back to you is a masterpiece, okay? But that's not what AI is. Also, I do want to talk about something because I didn't mention in my script, which I'm kind of sad about, but when we talk about AI taking inspiration, you also have to look at humans take inspiration also, and I got into an argument with one of my friends about this, well, not argument, but heated discussion, where they asked, okay, so it's okay for humans to take inspiration, but not AI? Which, okay, Landon, let me explain it to you, gosh. Okay, his name wasn't actually Landon, but like, that name, Landon just makes me mad. Like, Landon, Brandon, gosh, like, pick a different name for your kid. When humans take inspiration, that inspiration also takes work. For example, I am such a big fat One Piece fan, okay? Oda, he is one of my biggest inspirations of why I started drawing. Oh, sorry, I just did a thing there. I hit my chest and like stopped my talking. But Oda is a very big inspiration for me. His whimsical drawing, the way he draws characters, the way even his like digital art looks like paintings, it's just peak. However, I cannot replicate that style in a day, dude. I have to go through work. I have to do day after day drawing, figure out what he's truly doing, the emotions that he's putting in his characters, and putting all of that into one single beautiful masterpiece. I have to learn. And AI learns too, but not in the work effort a human does. It just looks at a drawing, goes, I'm just gonna take that component, this component, that component, and kind of melt them together, then put it on some other stolen artwork I took from somebody. That's not how humans work. That's not how we do stuff. We do stuff as in looking at a drawing, realizing what the components are, and trying to do trial after error, figuring out what made that drawing good. That's not what AI does. And we're getting to the end of the video, which I'm already seeing the time that I have on here. Yeah, this is gonna be long. Gosh, like, I love editing, guys. But I wanted to talk about AI and kind of break it down from the traditional and the generative and talk about what art truly means. Because a lot of people, when they talk about AI, they just talk about that bubble bursting. They don't really give anything. They're like, okay, guys, AI sucks and it's gonna be gone one day. And they don't really conform to people who don't understand why AI is bad. Because I am that, I won't say fence sitter, but I am that person who understands both sides. And as much as I am an artist who's very passionate about the destruction of generative AI, I do understand there are people out there who genuinely do not know why this stuff is bad. When you look at AI, and even a couple of my professors frequent this stuff, when they look at AI, they see a tool. And I genuinely think that's what AI was supposed to be. Like, traditional AI is supposed to be, okay, like, you want this, this, and that. Okay, I found it from these sources and here. But that's never how humans will use it. But it's taking away from our own performances. I will give you a little side part of my life. I used to use AI when it first came out because it genuinely fascinated me how something that wasn't human made stuff, like, off the whim. But when I used AI, especially generative AI, I felt like I was losing some of my own talent. I felt like I wasn't drawing as much, I wasn't writing as much, because I was just letting it do it for me. And obviously, that had to stop. Not to mention, when AI first came out, like, nothing about the environmental impact was coming out until, like, recently in 2024. Another reason you guys shouldn't support AI, okay? Okay. But it is seen as, in society, as like a tool. But since AI is so complex now and taking so much away, that it's taking away from our talent when we use it. I've seen people who used to be good at writing emails, doing stuff on their own, and once AI came out, they are genuinely incompetent. Not to be that mean person and not to use those mean words, but I've seen people who used to be able to write these long, lengthy emails that I would dread having to see because, I had this assignment due and I didn't freaking do it. And now they just send me a prompt that came from AI telling me to do my assignments. Yeah, you're getting paid, buddy. Like, is it that hard? Have you genuinely lost that much of your life that you can't write a simple email? I've seen people in my class, especially my creative writing class, which I'm in, which, you know, we have to work on a novel for that class. I have seen people in that classroom use AI to write their story because they feel like they can't do it. I've seen people in my classes that I've heard about in discussions that they genuinely feel like they can't do an assignment without AI, and they feel like pathetic without it. Look at our world. I want you to understand that I'm not against AI because, I want you to pay me more commissions, or, I should deserve to get paid too as an artist, which I mean, like, you know, I should, but I don't want you to think I'm coming off as that snotty little brat who just wants money and just wants you to waste your own time on me. But you're wasting your own time on AI. You are wasting stuff that you knew how to do. You knew how to do it. You knew how to write an email. You knew how to draw. You knew how to solve an equation. But yet, since AI came out, you feel as if you cannot do it without it. I'm sorry I'm getting a little heated. But, like, that's just what I want people to understand when it comes to AI. If you are a person who's watching this and support AI, please take into consideration what I've said. Please take into consideration, if AI did not exist, if AI just stopped working now, because that bubble will pop, what will you do with your life? You are left behind. You are getting dragged in quicksand and you do not know how to escape. And once that quicksand has pulled you all the way through and the quicksand stops and now it's just a big old hole and you're in this big old empty space, how will you get out of it? I don't want humanity to seem as if they're incompetent without AI, because guess what? We are intelligence. We are an artificial. We're the true stuff. I don't care whatever you draw, whatever you write. It could be genuine slop, but it's not artificial. There have been fanfics that have changed the directory of my life with how good they were written. And it's not AI. Oh my gosh. Honestly, that's really all I have to say for this video. If you stuck around for the hopefully not 30 minutes this recording has been going on for, if you stuck around for this, you know, I genuinely appreciate if you support this video. You know, like, subscribe, hype. I hate saying that. But you know, this video did take a while to kind of conform together, and talking about it and trying to get all the pieces together in one little sandwich, you know, it took a while, but I genuinely do hope you enjoyed this video. And if you are a person who still feels like they don't understand, you know, like, share your opinion down in the comments. If there is something in this video that you liked or something in this video that you didn't like, please share. I'd love some criticism, okay? Commissions are closed. I still need to figure out how VGen works, and I don't think I'll open them until maybe April or end of summer, because ya boy has so much stuff to do. Oh my gosh. Testing season, bro, I'm telling you, I'm failing all those tests. Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, I'm failing all those tests. Also, I do have an artist Discord server called the Interstellar Art Space. Everybody in that Discord server is cool as freak. Oh my gosh, it's a place where you can share all your art, no matter if you knit, no matter if you paint, no matter if you do traditional or digital. All the artists are there. All the art forms that you could ever possibly want are there. We have a lot of events we do every now and then, and we have a lot of fun stuff. I love interacting with everybody in that server. Everybody's so cool and awesome, you know? And you should join it. You should join. I love to see more artists work, and it'd be super awesome. But yeah, that's really all I had to say for this video. One little thing I'd like to leave you with, and you know, don't be like me. Don't feel discouraged. You know, this AI stuff is really, it's a lot. You know, I have to kind of put that out there. It is a lot looking at it, and kind of, it sucks. You know, a lot of young people say this, it's finally my turn to grow up and the world's looking like this, but don't lose hope. Artists, you know, especially new generation artists, we are kind of the left remaining. We are the ones that can pursue our own dreams and still feel like we have a chance. I have heard from a lot of people in my life when it comes to me wanting to be an artist saying it's never going to get you money, it's never going to make you a life. If you have people in your life like that, don't listen to them. You are an artist for a reason. You decided that that was your passion for a reason. Don't let AI feel like you can't do it. Don't make other people feel like you can't do it or it shouldn't be the right pursuit of your time and effort. You are valuable. As an artist, as a person, as somebody who understands the fundamentals of what we feel and how to portray that, you're awesome, dude. Like, we are people who can understand ourselves the best. And don't ever lose that, okay? Okay. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video. See you in a couple years. I don't know. Bye.